2 weeks to go until election day. The coalition is still behind in all the published opinion polls, but the rocky moments have continued for Anthony Albanese. Will that see that lead reduce over the final fortnight? Coming up this morning on the program, I'm speaking to the coalition spokesperson Anne Ruston, and Andrew Clennell will be interviewing Tony Burke. Let's bring in Andrew now, our political editor. Andrew, first of all, let's give our viewers the latest and some interesting information you've got on a pep talk the Prime Minister gave his MPs at the end of last week.
That's right, Kieran, and a happy Mother's Day to everyone. At a so-called town hall phone hookup with coalition MPs on Friday, Prime Minister Scott Morrison and Liberal Federal Director Andrew Hirst let the troops know that the government is still very much in this election. They said there is a large soft vote and that the way the campaign has run, the focus has been on economic management, and that can only help the coalition. Soft voters are concerned about the issue of the economy, Morrison and Hirst told the MPs. Scott Morrison told the MPs they needed to, quote, stick to the message, unquote, and not be distracted by other issues. Read into that the PM does not want any more internal division over issues like controversial Warringah candidate Katharine Deves, I guess. In a sign the government believes the campaign can be swung back the government's way, Andrew Hirst told those on the call that MPs should not encourage people to vote at pre-poll, which opens tomorrow. The argument seems to be that the government hopes to be in a stronger position on election day. MPs also took this as meaning the government is currently behind. Scott Morrison and Andrew Hirst's message was that as long as they were talking economic management, they were in a good place. The Liberals believe that even talk about interest rate rises and Labor's housing affordability policy has raised their preferred issue of economic management, and that can be a strength. And also on that call were Josh Frydenberg and Barnaby Joyce. So the government believes the ground has shifted after Anthony Albanese's NDIS gaffe, which followed his unemployment rate gaffe. But Labor believes the polls are consistent and things have not moved. In New South Wales, I'm told by sources on both sides that it is looking quite difficult for the government to hang on to the seats of Reid in the inner city, held by Fiona Martin on a 3.2% margin, and hard to hang on to the Central Coast seat of Robertson on the Central Coast, held by Lucy Wicks on a margin of 4.2%. But Parramatta, a Labor seat, is coming back the government's way after Labor parachuted in candidate Andrew Charlton. And in Bennelong, John Howard's old seat, the government is said to be behind, but trending back. But Liberal Andrew Constance is said to be ahead in Gilmore and can wrest that seat off the Labor Party. So, in the state with a third of the seats, the government may only end up down net one to Labor, but could then lose one or two seats to the Teal Independents. As I reported last week, the fly in the ointment for the Liberals in their quest to come from behind and achieve majority government are these so-called Teal Independents. One Liberal MP told me yesterday he can see a scenario where the coalition wins with 80 seats and another one where Labor wins with 80 seats, all down to the momentum at the end of the campaign. But most people seem to agree a hung parliament is most likely. If Labor continues to have stumbles and the Teal Independents pick up seats, you could actually have a scenario where Labor and the government end up with around 71 seats each, and the parliament is a real mess. Please, not another election. You could also have a scenario short of Labor majority government where Labor has 74 and the coalition around 69. It's really Anthony Albanese's gaffes that have kept the government still in the game. I saw this sentiment of voters wishing there was another candidate than Scott Morrison or Anthony Albanese when I door-knocked in the marginal Liberal seat of Swan in Western Australia that Labor expects to win. I did that last week. And Scott Morrison and Anthony Albanese, you're finding it a bit hard to choose, you're saying?
Yeah, I can't pick. I don't want to pick any of them.
Why is that? You're not convinced by either one of them?
No. I tend to find politicians very good at promising things, but not very good at delivering things.